Hey guys, welcome back to Paracord Planet. As you can see, we're kind of in a construction zone today. We're repainting the back wall and doing some other changes. We're not all sure what it's going to bring yet, but it'll be good. So with the loss of time and our filming space, we're going to do a really simple paracord project today. It's just a simple weave on a paracord bracelet. So let's stop talking and get into it. So for this project, you're going to need about 6 feet of 550 paracord. I would suggest using at least 7 just to be on the safe side. And I picked a 10-footer off the shelf, and somebody was generous and gave 12 in the bag, so we'll be set to go. Then we'll need a basic paracord bracelet jig. Probably not totally necessary, but I think this one's going to end up a lot neater with a jig. Type 1 fid is also going to be greatly appreciated on this one, as we'll be weaving the cord through some tight spaces near the end. And then lastly, a 5/8 inch buckle. So before we set this up on our jig, I'm going to actually cut my cord down to size so I don't have to be pulling all that extra cord through. I'll use exactly 7 feet, and then you can see what's left if you want to judge your measurements off of that. So you can just tie the paracord onto the buckle itself. It just leaves a little bit of a chunky knot. So I'm going to do a little bit different method. It's kind of a version of the Manny method of joining 2 pieces of paracord, but it creates a loop instead. So we'll thread it through our buckle. I'll go, let's see, I think up through the bottom works better on this one. And then we'll be taking our long end of the cord and putting the fid on that end. Make sure this end is melted, but just barely. And then we'll be going in about here, close to the end, and coming out the end of our paracord. So that works best if we can take the inner strands out of the very end. So let's pull those out a little ways, clip them, and then pull the sleeve back over the top. So I'm going to melt the end a little bit more first. Then bring that down through and out the end. Sometimes kind of a tight fit. I might have melted my end a little bit too much, actually. There we go. Then we'll slide that all the way back to the buckle end. So then we have this nice little finished loop right here. Almost invisible unless you're looking up close. So that was really the hardest part of this bracelet. Now we can put it on our jig. Now we'll be stringing the cord back and forth between the ends. Find the end of my cord again. And we'll go down through this side. Then when we come back to the top, we'll go up through that end. So it'll just be a continuous loop going down the bottom, up on the top. We'll do that about 4 times. So now again, right next to it. We'll just keep doing this until we have 4 cords going through each end of the buckle. So now we have 4 on top and 4 on bottom. I'm going to flip it around so I can start my weave at the top. Just makes more sense to my brain. I'm going to put a fid on the end of mine. Easier for you guys to see that on camera, and we'll need it at the end anyway. So we've really got 8 cords as the base of our bracelet, because we have 4 coming out of the top of the bracelet, 4 on the bottom. So we're going to split those, and I'm going to go over this first cord, and the one it's attached to on the bottom is this one here. So then I'll go over that cord, underneath the next one, over the top of the next one, underneath the next one, which is going to be this bottom one here. Over, under, over. So essentially what I've done is all the ones that are coming out of the top of the buckle, I'm going over those cords. So we get this nice crisscross look here. I'll pull that through. And now that we got that out of the way, the rest is actually easier. And whatever cords we went over last time, we're going under this time. So start with an under, over, under, over, under, over, under. Just like that. This pattern makes it a little bit hard to see. I apologize for that. But now, as long as we keep our cords in order like this, it shouldn't be a problem to whatever one we went underneath last time, just start going over that one the next time. And as long as the cords stay in the same order, you shouldn't have mistakes that way. So each time you can kind of push your weave up to the top. It's not going to be super tight, but kind of how you see it here. So we've got about 3 weaves going back and forth in that amount of space. And on our chair video, if you've seen our patio chair renovation where we wove with paracord, it's really the same pattern that we're doing here. And on that one, these center cords got really tight because we were dealing with the size of the chair, and our cords kind of have to go up and down through the weave. So it really tightened up this and made it difficult. On the bracelet length, I really didn't have a problem with that. So it'll make your bracelet a little bit shorter than you plan it to be, but not by much. So we'll keep going with the same weave and show you how to finish it off at the end. You might have noticed me change the size of the jig halfway through that time lapse. It's now set at about 8.5, and generally I'll make an 8-inch bracelet for my 7-inch wrist. And that's for a couple reasons. First, I'm using 5/8-inch buckles, so they do stick out past the edge of the jig a little bit, so that changes my measurements. And then this bracelet did tend to make itself a little bit smaller as we were weaving it, so it's good to size it a little bit bigger. But that being said, once I put it on, though it's a little bit tighter to get on, it has such a flat profile that it's actually pretty comfortable to wear that way. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As I said earlier, this is a really easy, maybe a beginner's bracelet. It'd be a good one to move on to after you've mastered things like the fishtail or the cobra. I probably like it better than some of those as it has a nice sloped profile, and it's actually pretty easy to unravel too if you need to deploy this paracord. So as always, we'll put links down in the description to where you can find paracord and the hardware we use. So in this one, the buckle. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.